Tewodros II, the visionary emperor who reshaped Ethiopia. In the heart of 19th century Africa, at a time when empires clashed and the shadow of colonial ambition loomed over the continent, one man dared to dream of a strong, unified, and independent Ethiopia. His name was Kassa Haile, but history remembers him as Emperor Tewodros II, a reformer, a warrior, a visionary, and a tragic hero. This is his story. Origins of a revolutionary, 1818 to 1847. Born around 1818 in the rugged region of Kwara in northwestern Ethiopia, Kassa Haile entered a world defined by fragmentation and feudal strife. Ethiopia was mired in the Zemin Mesafint, the era of princes, a period where regional warlords ruled autonomously, and the Solomonic monarchy was reduced to a ceremonial relic. Kassa was born to Haile Wolde Georges, a minor nobleman, and Wazero, a Tidejeb Wunbawasan, a woman of clerical descent. Despite his noble heritage, Kassa's family had little power. Orphaned at a young age, he was raised in rural hardship. These early struggles shaped his resolve and his empathy for Ethiopia's marginalized masses. Educated in a local monastery, Kassa studied the Ethiopian Orthodox faith and mastered both Guizi and Amharic. He was deeply spiritual, but also grew into a warrior, skilled on horseback, charismatic, and driven. Branded a bandit by some, he drew many followers seeking justice and reform, not mere conquest. Rise to power, 1847 to 1855. By the late 1840s, Kassa began a campaign to topple the regional warlords. He led a disciplined force, recruited from peasantry and loyal nobles, that grew with each victory. He challenged Ras Ali II of Yeju, the empire's de facto ruler, and defeated him in 1853 at the Battle of Ashel. Kassa's triumph allowed him to seize Gondar, Ethiopia's symbolic capital. In 1855, he was crowned Emperor Tewodros II at Derashtamariam Church. Claiming descent from the Solomonic line, his coronation marked a turning point, ending the Zemin Mesafint and signaling a new vision for Ethiopian unity. Building a modern empire, 1855 to 1860. Tewodros launched a bold mission to centralize power, reform the legal system, and modernize the military. He appointed loyal administrators, dismantled feudal networks, and imposed a uniform code of justice. Determined to match European powers, he built arms workshops at Magdala and sought foreign artisans to teach modern crafts and warfare. He contacted Queen Victoria and Napoleon III, not for gifts, but for educators and engineers. His reforms also included establishing schools and promoting literacy. Yet his mission faced resistance from nobles, the church, and foreign diplomats. Tewodros was uncompromising, and his stern approach alienated allies. His grief after the death of Empress Tewodros in 1858 left him increasingly volatile and mistrustful. Magdala and isolation, 1860 to 1868. Tewodros made Magdala his stronghold, turning it into a symbol of Ethiopian pride and technological hope. There, he oversaw cannon foundries, libraries, and administrative centers. But his political isolation deepened. Frustrated by Europe's silence, he imprisoned missionaries and British Consul Charles Cameron to force a diplomatic response. This backfired, as the British government viewed it as a grave provocation. Tewodros, increasingly surrounded by enemies and rebellion, stood alone. Confrontation with Britain, 1867 to 1868. In response, Queen Victoria ordered the Abyssinian expedition. Led by Sir Robert Napier, over 13,000 troops landed in Ethiopia in 1867. The force was unmatched in size and logistics, aided by elephants and local informants. Tewodros released his captives, hoping to avoid war, but Napier's army advanced on Magdala. In April 1868, British forces stormed the fortress. Tewodros, refusing surrender, ended his life with a pistol once gifted by Queen Victoria, a poignant final act of resistance. Legacy of Emperor Tewodros II. The British looted Magdala, taking manuscripts, regalia, and cultural treasures, many still held in British institutions today. Though defeated, Tewodros left a legacy of pride and resilience. His centralization, justice reforms, and industrial ambitions inspired future emperors like Johannes IV and Menelik II. To Ethiopians, Tewodros became a national icon, a martyr who fought for unity and resisted foreign domination. His name endures in Ethiopian memory, not as a failed monarch, but as a father of modern nationhood. Tewodros II dreamed beyond his era, a self-made emperor with a burning vision. He rose from hardship to reshape a fragmented land. Though his methods were harsh and his end tragic, his dream lives on. Today, Ethiopia honors him, in its classrooms, in its monuments, and in its spirit of sovereignty. More than 150 years later, his vision of national unity and independence remains deeply relevant. Ethiopia continues to wrestle with many of the same issues that Tewodros confronted in his lifetime. The tension between regional autonomy and central authority, the need for technological advancement, the pursuit of justice, and the quest to maintain sovereignty in a globalized world. In the 21st century, Ethiopia faces challenges that would be familiar to Tewodros: ethnic division, external interference, and the difficult task of building a modern state rooted in ancient traditions. His insistence on unity, strong leadership, and self-reliance has influenced generations of Ethiopian leaders and thinkers. In recent years, there has been renewed interest in reclaiming the artifacts looted from Magdala. Museums across the United Kingdom have faced increasing pressure to return sacred items, manuscripts, crosses, and royal regalia that are more than just objects. They are symbols of a people's history and dignity. This global conversation echoes Tewodros' own belief that Ethiopia should stand proud, with its head held high among nations. Tewodros' legacy is not without controversy, but it is foundational. He laid the intellectual and political groundwork for an Ethiopia that aspires to be more than the sum of its past conflicts, a nation forged through resilience, cultural pride, and a relentless commitment to its identity. To understand modern Ethiopia is to understand Tewodros, not just as a figure of history, but as a compass for the future.